The sound that came from the bedroom wasn't one I could ever mistake. It was low, rhythmic, and painfully familiar, the kind of sound that once belonged to us. For a second, my brain refused to connect the dots. My hands trembled as I reached for the doorknob, a part of me still begging to be wrong, to find anything else on the other side. But when I opened that door, the universe split in half. There she was, my wife, tangled up in the sheets, her skin glistening under the soft light from the bedside lamp. And beside her, half naked and frozen in disbelief, was Ryan, my best friend since college. No one moved. No one spoke. The air thickened until it felt like drowning. "Hey man, it's not what it looks like," Ryan blurted out, his voice cracking, scrambling for words that could never fix what I was seeing. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because my body didn't know how else to react. My wife's face turned pale, her lips trembling. She covered herself with the blanket like it mattered. "James, please," she started, but her voice broke off into a sob. I couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear anything. I walked out, shutting the door behind me. Each step away from that room felt heavier than the last, like dragging chains through wet sand. My heart was trying to convince my brain that maybe this was just a nightmare, but the sound of her crying, her pleading, echoed through the walls, reminding me it wasn't. Outside, the cold air slapped me hard across the face. I leaned against my car, gripping the metal until my knuckles turned white. We had been married for 6 years. 6 years of inside jokes, late-night talks, and promises about growing old together. Ryan had been the one I called when I proposed to her. He helped me pick the ring. He toasted our wedding with tears in his eyes, saying I'd found the one. Felt sick. Over the next few days, I replayed everything in my head, every small sign I'd ignored. The way she smiled at her phone sometimes. The sudden girls' nights, that never used to happen before. How Ryan stopped coming by as often, saying he was too busy. I thought I was imagining things. I trusted them both too much to believe they'd betray me. She tried calling me. Dozens of times. I didn't answer. Her messages filled my screen. Apologies, explanations, pathetic attempts at rewriting the story into something less cruel. "It was a mistake," she said. "We were drunk." As if that made it better. But then she wrote something that snapped the last thread holding me together. It didn't mean anything. I'd spent 6 years giving her everything I had. My time, my love, my loyalty. And in a single sentence, she reduced it all to nothing. That's when the idea of revenge took root. Not the kind that involves yelling or breaking things. No, I wanted something quieter, colder. Something she'd feel for the rest of her life. Ryan ran a small marketing agency, a company I'd helped him start years ago. I was his silent partner, the one who fronted half the capital when he couldn't get the loan. My name was still on the paperwork. So I started making calls. I reached out to a few clients, shared some concerns about financial mismanagement, hinted at shady practices. Didn't take much. People in that world are quick to jump ship when there's smoke, even before they see fire. Within a week, he lost 2 major accounts. Within a month, the company started bleeding money. Meanwhile, I met with my lawyer. I didn't scream or throw things when I filed for divorce. I didn't even see her in person. I just signed the papers and sent them over with a note that said, "Now you can be together without lying." But revenge isn't as satisfying as people think. It doesn't heal anything. Just changes the shape of the pain. One evening, about 2 months later, I ran into Ryan at a bar, the same one we used to visit after work. He looked terrible, like life had drained the color from his face. His company was gone. His reputation too. He didn't see me at first, but when our eyes met, his froze. "James," he started, voice trembling. I walked up to him, calm and deliberate, the same way I'd walked out of that bedroom. "You took something from me," I said quietly. "So I took something back." He nodded slowly, guilt etched across his face. "I deserve it." I could have punched him, could have screamed, but instead I just stared at him and said, "You deserve to live with it." Then I walked away. Later that night, my ex-wife, showed up at my apartment. I almost didn't let her in, but something in her voice stopped me. She looked different, tired, defeated. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "Not just for what I did, but for how I broke something that can't ever be fixed." I didn't respond right away. The silence stretched until she whispered, "Do you still hate me?" I looked at her and said, "No, I don't hate you. I just don't know who you are anymore." She started crying, her shoulders shaking. There was a time when that sight would have shattered me, but now it just felt empty, like watching rain fall on a house I no longer lived in. When she left, I sat by the window and stared out at the city lights. The world looked the same, but I wasn't. Something inside me had been scraped clean, leaving only the echo of what used to be love. I realized then that revenge hadn't given me closure. It hadn't made the betrayal any less painful. It had just built a wall between who I was and who I'd become. But maybe that's what healing really is. Not finding peace, but learning to live with the pieces. The next morning, I dropped my wedding ring into the ocean. I watched it disappear beneath the waves, swallowed by the current. For the first time in months, I took a deep breath that didn't hurt. She'd destroyed our marriage. Ryan had destroyed our friendship. But I wasn't going to let them destroy me. And as the sun rose over the horizon, I whispered to the empty sky, "You both got what you wanted. Now live with it."